Hello and welcome to Network Africa with me, Cynthia Arroyo, on Channels Television. Coming up on the program today, we bring you updates concerning the illegal migration crisis, and then Burundians continue to flee the crisis, and South Sudan also receives $275 million in aid. Well, we begin right now concerning the migrant crisis. Topping our news today is illegal migration. According to the government of Niger, a total of 33 migrants have died in the Sahara Desert in Niger while en route to Europe this year, including 18 found dehydrated last week near a road to the border with Algeria. However, international assessments have put the number closer to 50. Many thousands attempt to cross the vast and inhospitable terrain in order to reach the Libyan coast, where they hope to begin another hazardous trip by boat to Europe. A statement released by the Interior Ministry says 6 foreigners were found dead near a road between Agadez and the Libyan border on May the 12th, while 9 were found dead on June the 2nd and 4 more are missing on a road to Libya. In its own statement, the International Organization for Migration said 30 migrants had been found dead in the Sahara near Dirkou in Niger on Monday, bringing the number to 48. Now, as the Mediterranean crisis continues, dozens of mostly Eritrean migrants brandishing banners requesting a political solution from Europe waited at the Franco-Italian border in the early hours of this morning. The migrants who have been trying to cross the border into France in the hope of reaching Northern Europe have been repeatedly stopped on their journey to France or Sweden and the United Kingdom by French police. France has stepped up border controls on migrants coming from Italy, turning back hundreds and leaving growing numbers camped out in railway stations in Rome and Milan. France, Italy and Germany agreed on Tuesday, that's yesterday, to join forces to identify migrants arriving by sea and to swiftly relocate them across the European Union or send them back to their home countries if their claims for asylum in Europe are rejected. Now, the Pope is far from pleased with countries who close doors to migrants. At the end of his weekly general audience, the Pope made an appeal to Europe on how to deal with the current immigrant crisis. He urged that those who seek refuge should be remembered in prayer and that their dignity should always be respected. He also encouraged the work of all those who bring their help and hopes that the international community will act in a harmonious and effective manner to prevent the causes of forced migration. France and Austria have stepped up border controls on migrants coming from Italy, turning back hundreds and leaving growing numbers camped out in railway stations in Rome and Milan. And in a sign of persisting discord over how to deal with the migrant crisis, the Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi threatened retaliation if other EU countries did not agree to take their fair share of refugees that land on Italy's shores. Now, over 100,000 people have fled Burundi to neighboring countries in recent weeks as a political crisis, which is the worst since the end of a 12-year civil war in 2005, rages on in the East African country. Protests erupted after President Pierre Nkurunziza announced his bid for a third term. That's a move which opponents say would violate the constitution. Congo's east is already awash with internally displaced persons owing to ongoing instability in the region, and aid workers fear a humanitarian crisis is looming.
President Nkurunziza of Burundi insists he will run for a third term, and this is the cost. The refugees continue to pour out of the country in their thousands. A steady stream of men, women, and children carrying the few possessions they can carry as they flee their homes in Burundi. As things stand now, the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, says more than 110,000 people have fled a political crisis that many fear could descend into another bout of ethnic bloodletting in the heart of Africa's Great Lakes. Here in Uvira, situated in the Democratic Republic of Congo's South Kivu province, More than 9,000 Burundians have arrived since the end of March. Most of them cite fear of persecution and insecurity linked to the political situation back home. They say that just 10 years after the end of an ethnically charged civil war in which 300,000 people died, they are tired of running away.
We are tired of these conflicts in Burundi. Every 3 or 5 years, we have to flee conflicts in our country to take up refuge in neighboring countries. Since 1988, 1993, 1996, we are tired. We just want to live somewhere else outside Burundi.
On June 1st, the new head of the United Nations Relief Arm released a fresh tranche of crisis funding for the UN Central Emergency Response Fund in order to support life-saving relief work for thousands of Burundian refugees dispersed between Rwanda and Tanzania. With aid agencies already overstretched with the constant stream of displaced people in volatile Eastern Congo, the arrival of Burundian refugees presents a new challenge.
There are challenges at all levels, and we're trying to find solutions in collaboration with other humanitarian partners. Most of the families that come here are often separated, where 1 or 2 children have been left behind. We are currently trying to reunite family members because we have many non-accompanied children.
A presidential election scheduled for the end of this month in Burundi has already been pushed back to mid-July. The United States has urged Nkurunziza not to run, and European donors have halted aid.
Coming up, South Sudan gets $275 million in aid. Details in a moment. Please stay with us.